Yay! The FAST reform was officially filed.
I don't know what the hell that is.
That's federal financial aid for college, which we don't really qualify for, but we have to still fill it out every year because her school looks at it to determine what scholarships she gets.
It's like open enrollment. Even if you're not like changing any of your elections, you have to go through the whole process every year.
Yeah,
because bureaucrats.
All right.
Because bureaucrats exist.
Because bitches.
Joe, you want to charge cannons, being that you're closer?
I didn't wash these.
It's alcohol.
It's probably fine, right?
Yeah, it's alcohol.
What are you charging with?
Poop myself.
You want to charge with this?
Yeah, because that has alcohol in it. And you get like George's intestinal bug or something. Now that I think about it, I probably should wash them because you might have touched these things.
I licked every single one before you guys came up.
Not all you licked.
You can't get warm, man.
Well, I mean,
I am wearing a t-shirt and a vest over a t-shirt. I don't know. Yeah.
Dude, were you actively at work today? Or
I dressed myself this morning. Can you tell? My wife didn't pick out my wardrobe. I'm wearing like a fucking Microsoft Build t-shirt from 3 years ago and a vest I got 2 days ago that I didn't wash yet.
My microphone smells like a hobo was here.
I wasn't using that one.
Was Raph here? Raph was here?
Be careful. We got a new master with a new set of keys. He come up here and do whatever he wants to all these things.
Check your nose, bro.
Oh, and he would too.
Yes, he would.
Yeah.
And I had that nose all in it. And
did you make an announcement about who the new master of Morningstar Lodge is?
No, but we should toast him today.
Yeah, well, I think we should. We missed out on that last time.
All right, kiddos, we ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Holiday. BRB. Holiday rights. BRB. Period. Wife. Period.
We get it, brother. We get it.
Are you ready, boys?
Yeah.
Let's do this. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello and welcome to the Freemasons podcast with your hosts, Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry,
Worshipful Brother Joe,
and Worshipful Brother Ken.
And today, episode 166, I titled it About Last Wednesday.
That's a good title. That's a good title. Here we go. Back to that 80s movie About Last Night.
Yeah.
To me, more Rob Law.
We're going to talk a little bit about last Wednesday. And we're going to do it as apolitically as we can as Masons. I know a lot of Grand Lodge views have Grand Lodges, if states, have come out with a bunch of different statements about it.
Yeah, we're going to read a couple of them that are a little different from each other and kind of talk about the differences in them a bit.
And we're going to go into our views as well. Just a reminder, Joe, give our disclaimer.
The views expressed on this podcast are not necessarily those of any Blue Lodge, any Grand Lodge jurisdiction, any shrine, commandery, valley, whatever. They're strictly our own, and yeah, that's it.
I gave you the echo, and then you just
whatever.
Cheese dick the whole thing. No, but in all seriousness, we these are our views. These are our own views. We're going to be apolitical. We're going to be Masons about it. Even though this is a very hot topic because a lot of people are Masons are humans too, right? We get inflamed, pissed off.
Some more than others.
But I do get angry, but we'll get into it. First thing I want to do, though, is we have a question, and I want to cite this question, and then we'll get into our likes and all that happy horse goo. Do I have a reverb? Nope, they're all off. But we have an
anchor question, right?
Yep. David Orozco?
I'd go Orozco.
Orozco. All right, David Orozco.
Jesse.
I'm going to play it over the thing, and then we'll listen to it, and we'll talk.
Oh, we have an audio question. Oh,
toss it around the table.
I like when we get those.
I like that.
Hello, worshipful brothers. I had a question about coins. As you know, Christmas had just passed, and I was going shopping for gifts. as per usual, I see a lot of the Freemason stuff, the rings, the pendants, and sometimes T-shirts. And I was wondering what happens when a non-Mason gets a hold of those things, and represents Masonry, and what happens when not. I'm sure that you're able to distinguish a Cohen from a Mason, but what happens if a Mason in the streets sees a Cohen with that kind of merchandise representing? That's something I was curious about.
Good question.
Kill them all.
Well, by oath, we have to take them out. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no.
We'll just Tanya Harding his kneecaps. No, I'm kidding.
Joke. We're joking.
We're just kidding.
So we as Masons do recognize each other, and that's through means of recognition that we are taught during the degrees of Freemasonry, which we're not going to discuss, of course. But if we were, as a Mason, to see one of these individuals impersonating a Mason on the streets, what would we do?
I mean, it's like stolen valor. They're gonna sell themselves out before you even have to do anything. Yeah. And I mean, what can you say? I mean, it's a merchandisable item. You can't be like, take that shit off. They bought it. It's their property. You know what I mean? So you really can't do anything about it. You can just, trust me. If you approach it in a certain way, they'll want to take it off.
Well, and you know what?
Well, hear me out. I don't mean freaking hit them with a sock full of D-cell batteries or anything. That's not what
I like butter.
What I'm saying though is like you come up to him, and the first guy sees, oh, hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing? I shake his hand and say, hey, what lodge you from? Guarantee he's not going to know.
No,
and you're going to see it written all over his face. Shit, I'm head. Just like when you ask somebody in the military, like, oh, what unit you serve in?
Yeah.
They have no. Oh, what boot camp? What battalion were you in boot camp? What's your MOS?
This individual might not even know that he's not supposed to wear that stuff if he's a non-Mason, and he might just think that it's cool.
Or you got to be careful because you might have a situation where it's something like, he doesn't know any, but maybe it was his grandfather's ring or his father's ring, and he's just he's wearing it to honor them.
Absolutely.
Without really understanding. But then, I think that would come out in conversation, and then you'd be like, hey, if you're interested, I could tell you a little bit about it, and you can go ahead and find out more. And if you really want to learn more about it.
You don't want to be a Dovani and walk up and be a dick.
You come out and swinging, and that's going to destroy the reputation.
Well, you come out swinging, every once in a while, the person's going to swing back.
Dovani, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
And then you're going to get it. But no, it's you could usually tell. And like if I'm walking, like say with my daughter and I in New York City, and you see somebody, and it's like, yep, he definitely is after you talk to him. Or you could be like, yeah, Clandy, freaking Clandy. But funny,
check your shoes.
Funny that this came up today. So I'm out every day. I go for either a walk or a run at lunchtime, just to kind of burn some calories. Today I'm doing it in my nice new weighted vest, so I look like a whack job walking through my neighborhood. But
fuck that weighted vest.
So about 2 weeks ago, I see the Amazon truck driver coming by, and I'm wearing this hoodie with the Freemasons podcast logo on the back.
Nice hoodie too.
Yeah, really nice, made by Mrs. Rafferty.
Gotta throw those plugs in.
And as he's driving by, he goes, "Hello, brother." They're like, "Whoa, what the hell?" It doesn't happen often. So I see the same guy today. He stops the truck, and it's the Amazon trucks are like the UPS style trucks where it's got the open door.
Yep.
He stops the truck, and inside, so that other people can't see it, gives me the sign and due guard of a Master Mason. He goes, "Hey, brother." I'm like, "Hey, all right, brother." So like, there's ways. My point on that is, there's ways that if somebody's a true Mason,
right?
Your Amazon packages are always well delivered.
Yes,
dusted off.
As for wearing our apparel and everything. It doesn't bother me. I take it as a flattery. Like, if you're going to wear it,
as long as you're following the 2 rules,
take the petition.
Brother Joseph says 2 rules.
Don't pretend. Actually,
ask about it. Ask questions. Find out
about it.
But like, there's no nobody's going to like report him to the Masonic police or
George is going to disclose. George is going to disclose his rules today.
Oh,
boy! I have my.
We didn't discuss this in the pre-production. No, we did not discuss this in the green room.
Now
let's do likes, boys. Let's do
All right,
likes.
let's
hold
do
on.
likes.
Before we do that,
Oh.
there is a law on the books in the state of Connecticut. We've talked about this before,
Yes.
right? Where if you impersonate a Mason or any fraternal body, there is a fine. Now, I don't know. It's a criminal penalty. I think it's more of a civil thing. But you could be fined some number of dollars, $100, $250, something like that. for impersonating-
$357.
Is it?
Yes,
Yeah,
that would
350.
be
It could
funny
be
if it
something
was.
like that. But yeah, it was, a couple $100. You could be fined. It's probably not enforced anymore, but it's one of those blue laws that's still on the books, probably from back in those 1700s.
I'm going out and making some citizens arrests.
Mm,
You know what the Masonic gun is, right? The Magnum.
357 Magnum.
Then there is but there
Totally
is
making this shit up. Please don't.
no, there is actually a tie there to the person that made the 357 caliber.
No kidding.
Not necessarily Sam Colt, but somebody else that worked for him. There is actually a tie there. I did some research on that.
That's cool.
Holiday says, "All right, Joe."
Holiday.
He says, "All right, Joe. You got a little bit of jokes.
Anyway, a lot of bit of jokes.
Let's do some. Let's do some likes.
Let's do some likes. There may be some overlap because I can never remember where we left off. But,
Welcome to my life.
We definitely, but I can actually read. We'll start off with Nathan Jacobs, Adam Stoddard, Sean Graham, Chad Willie, Addie Garcia, Michelle Lee, Jose Gaspar, Michael Loker, and Matthew Haggerty.
Yeah, and over on Instagram, we've got a few new followers. A couple of these guys, you folks will
Recognize?
you guys will recognize.
Today,
I'm sorry, I got so excited. Kurt Miller, Michael John Hambrecht.
Ah.
Thank you for finally following us on
About
Instagram,
time.
Brother Mike.
Right.
Sean
call him
Graham.
out.
Sorry, Sean Graham and Ligarius Chantrell. Thank you, brothers and friends.
All right, let's go on to YouTube. As soon as it decides to load, because somebody shut it down earlier. Notifications. Let's see here. We got Doug Berry,
Oh, Doug Berry.
Brother Doug.
Clover Style Hitman.
Yeah. Okay.
Clover style hitman?
Well, how would you name that right there? Green.
I can't freaking see.
Cloud
Yeah, that's how I would do
Clover
it.
Style Hitman. It's badass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He's got to talk with an Irish accent though, if he's gonna have that name.
I would hope.
John Elliswick. That's what I got.
All right.
All right. There's a comment there. I wanted to see what that comment was.
Uh-oh.
It's probably an
We've seen a few Illuminati
Oh,
comments recently.
Yeah, I know.
Scott Blanchard. Oh, really?
Yeah, we're
on
brother
YouTube.
Scott Blanchard. No, on
The community
Facebook.
I wouldn't
Community
know.
Facebook page.
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. Why I wouldn't?
Oh, do or would I?
Illuminati.
All right, let's lead it. Who wasn't toasting in a while?
Ken.
Ken, fire away,
All
Ken.
right, brethren, right hand to arms.
To arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire, good fire. Fire all. Together, brethren.
Vivat, vivat, vivat.
I like going back
What
to
do we
these
think?
cannons. These are nice.
How was the alcohol?
That was good. Evan Williams.
Williams.
I went with beer.
Oh,
I liked it.
wasn't bad. The liquor store guy recommended it to me
Okay.
because I was standing there like a blind guy picking out his favorite adult movie, and I couldn't figure what the hell I wanted.
Jesus.
So,
It says
Came
small
out-
batch. That's
Well,
usually a good sign. When it
came out and
comes
helped
to
me
straight
out.
Whiskey. Yeah, that's a good one.
all right. Who wants to start this fun topic?
Mm,
Well, how about we start with the Grand Lodge letters,
So let's
and I'll turn that over to the calm, middle
Voice
of
of
the road,
reason.
middle of the reason, illustrious brother. Worship
no,
brother.
not illustrious. Not illustrious. Not yet. Shout out to Jack Frost yesterday.
to
My hair is illustrious.
yes, it is.
So, as a lot of you know, this little thing happened last Wednesday down in the nation's capital, and like Right Worship Brother George said, we're going to try to stay away from the politics of it. However, and full transparency, we had even debated last week whether this was something that we wanted to address, and at the time, the consensus was not a majority; it was a majority. It wasn't unanimous. Felt that there really wasn't enough of a Masonic tie-in to discuss it. However, either yesterday or the night before, Grand Lodges started weighing in and issuing some statements on it. So that's where we kind of revisited and said, okay, now it's a Masonic topic. It's now something that we should probably discuss and can discuss a different aspect of it without getting into the meat of it. So I pulled 2 letters that were issued.
Okay.
And I'm going to read them both. They're different, and I'll say that. And they kind of go at the situation a little differently. So after
I don't think we should dissect them. I think we should these are the Grand Lodge statements.
Yeah,
I don't think that we should dissect them and pull them apart and what they should have said and shouldn't have said.
That's fine.
Because realistically, in my opinion,
right, they show 2 different ways, 2 different Grand Lodge jurisdictions and the way they're handling.
These are statements.
So this one is the Grand Lodge of New Hampshire, Free and Accepted Masons. Kenneth A. Clay Jr., Grand Master, January 11th, 2021, to all New Hampshire Masons. Brethren, I want to take a few moments to reflect on the meaning and impact of Freemasonry, considering the trying times that we've experienced in the last year. None of us could have imagined that our community, state, nation, and our world would be confronted with so many unique challenges in such a short period of time. That's why I firmly believe that Freemasonry is needed now more than ever before. Freemasons protect and support each other. We lend a helping hand. We listen, we guide, we teach, we volunteer. We perform our good works not only for our members, but for all mankind. For generations, communities have turned to Freemasons as a guidepost for everything that is good and right in the world. Freemasons are just and upright men who conduct their lives in the highest levels of dignity, integrity, and morality. We are on a journey to learn to subdue our passions and practice the virtues of brotherly love, relief, and truth. We constantly strive to exhibit that character within and without the walls of our lodge. As a result, countless opportunities exist to uplift our fellow man when they need that most, or when they need us most. I hope that you will take a few moments every day, especially during the most difficult times, to contemplate your obligations, the lessons taught in our ritual, and your journey from rough to smooth ashlar. We are incredibly blessed to be members of this ancient honorable fraternity. Forget not the duties you have heard so frequently inculcated and forcibly recommended in your lodge. Do unto all. Freemasonry expects no less of you. So that is, again, the
well said.
Most Worshipful Grand Master Kenneth A. Clay Jr. of Grand Lodge of New Hampshire, Free and Accepted Masons.
Very nice.
I have another from Grand Lodge of Wisconsin. You want me to jump right into that?
Yeah, this is the second. This is the second one and the only other one you have, right?
Correct. I only have the 2.
Right. Yeah, read this one.
Grand Lodge Free and Accepted Masons of Wisconsin, written by Most Worshipful Grand Master Kenneth Gorgon. I had to write Mike Tyson there for a minute.
I can't help but noticing that both of these Grand Masters' first names are Kenneth. Just incidentally.
No, I went with his Mike.
Yeah, I read Mike Tyson for him. I went Master. Right when you took a swig, too, so it almost came out your nose.
Perfect.
All right. Again, Grand Lodge Free and Accepted Masons of Wisconsin. Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. My brothers, January 6, 2021 was a time for the wheels of our government to begin turning for the 4-year ritual, acknowledging the will of the people and validating the selection of a leader from our beloved country. This ritual has been a legacy and a part of our heritage for over 200 years. Unfortunately, on this day, a group of thugs decided to force themselves into this sacred process and stop these wheels from turning. They attacked the sanctuary, which houses a place for our elected leaders to carry on the business of the country. Regardless of our political persuasion or beliefs, as citizens of the United States and as just and upright Masons, we should be sickened by the ruthless actions of these criminals. Our country is founded on a principle that we, the people, are entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As Masons, we are charged to promote these principles to all people. As the ritual teaches, give every man his just due without distinction. There is much work to do to make sure all people of this country have an equal share of that dream, but the work of equality under the law, and in this case, the peaceful transfer of power must never stop or be interrupted by force. These criminals have in the past and on January 6th exposed everyone to their rhetoric and actions which promote mistrust, suspicion, discrimination, separation, and hatred, which in the end resulted on an assault on the cradle of our government. Masons who believe in the principles of brotherly love, relief, and truth cannot in clear conscience belong to any organization that teaches hate and supremacy of one person over another because of color, nationality, and religious beliefs. These organizations are in direct conflict with what we as Masons hold dear. It cannot be possible to hold membership in one of these subversive organizations and still be a Mason. You were first prepared to be a Mason in your heart. I cannot condone one of our Masonic brothers maintaining a membership in one of these organizations. If you hold a membership in one of these organizations, I encourage you to hold fast to your Masonic teachings and resign from that group. Otherwise, I will gladly accept your resignation from the Masonic fraternity. Sincerely in fraternity, most worshipful Grand Master, Kenneth Gorgon, Grand Master, not Master, Grand Master of Masons in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Nice. So, a couple different things.
I enjoyed the first one better than the second one. But okay, we're not going to unpack these, right?
Well, the second one takes a hard line, but it doesn't really.
I think it takes a very
delineate what these organizations that he speaks of are. But
so we talked about George's 2 rules. Do you want to disclose what my 2 rules are?
You only have
I
two?
mean, I don't know what they are, so I mean,
My 2 rules.
This is not in the pre-production meeting.
no, this is
My 2
off
rules are
script here.
this. I will never speak on a subject unless I have either a first-person account of it or I've done my homework on it.
Okay.
I will never get into an argument where I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. For 2 reasons. I don't want to look stupid. And 2, eating crow tastes like shit.
Well,
I do not like eating crow, and I don't like looking stupid.
And there's
Two of
only
my-
so much you could do to not look stupid.
yeah, exactly.
You're at a
already-
significant disadvantage.
You're close to the threshold at all given times. So.
I'll make sure that there's thank you, Bill. Thank you, brother Bill Powell. He said I should make a pamphlet about it. So that's what I'm
really
gonna do.
should. Yeah, some 8.5 by 11.
So when we talk about organizations, okay, one of the major problems that we have with media and internet, and I mean you can attribute this to the Freemasons, is that there's a narrative about the Freemasons. We're devil worshippers.
Oh, yeah,
we're
there
money
always has been.
embezzlers. We're NWO.
There's a narrative about
So,
any organization.
In my
out
personal
there.
opinion, I think it's very unfair to be putting out that if you're part of one of these quote unquote organizations, because what organization are you talking about? I would never, ever, and nor would I condone like the neo-Nazis. But there's other organizations that have a bad rap about them that aren't bad at all.
Right. I think
Did
we.
they ever-
So
Go ahead, Ken.
that's all I'm saying.
Did they ever put a fine point on what that group of people was that broke into the Capitol? Like, is there anybody like
There
take
was no group.
responsibility or okay?
So let me,
Because I would guess that would be the organization he's talking about.
So-
if we knew. But,
again, 2 rules. I will never speak on something unless I have a firsthand account of it.
Mhm.
2, I will never speak on something until I've done my homework on it. So
I thought those were both rule number 1.
those are those are my 2 rules, right?
Oh, okay.
That's basically it.
Oh, got it.
So I know Joe kind of warned me not to do this, but I think I need to make it no.
Here we go.
I think I need to make it
No,
no.
I don't think you do.
Kill the mics.
No.
La 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 la. Twinkle,
was-
twinkle, little star.
I was there. I just put up a picture that I was there. It's okay. And I'll explain why.
This was not discussed in pre-production.
Soft script.
I'm going to explain why. Okay. I was there as my beliefs, and I am a firm believer that Freemasonry should allow for a person to.
Can I just make you clarify something real quick before you go further?
Yes, sir.
When you say you were there,
I was.
you were in the Capitol District. You were near the Capitol building. You were not one of the people that went inside the building.
Okay, so let me be
I didn't wanna-
absolutely clear about
yeah,
this.
I want to
okay?
be very clear to.
I
our
want to be
listeners.
clear about this too. I was there at the rally. I was there at the walk over to the Capitol. I absolutely refuse to ever walk into that building unless I'm invited. Why? Because I believe in the sanctity of this country and maybe not the people inside or all the people inside, but I believe in what that building stands for. So I will never step in that building unless I have a visitor's pass or I'm invited to it. So I want to be clear about that. I do not condone those people who went in there. I think that was absolute bullshit. That's not what we do.
Correct. We as Masons do not promote that type of behavior.
Hey, what's his name?
Cobra Style
Cobra Style
Hitman.
Hitman. Sorry, I gotta take a break real quick. He just said I'm in the process of petition to a lodge. I appreciate the podcast is giving a lot of great information. You are very welcome. And thank you.
So
for
don't
some-
scare him away, George.
I'm
Yeah.
not scaring him away.
And maybe explain that screen name because it's awesome.
That is awesome. So let me be clear. I did not walk into that Capitol. I didn't even go up on the steps. And I want to be clear of that because I respect that building and I respect what it stands for.
Especially being a military man. I mean,
absolutely.
That would be completely averse to your
So
beliefs.
I just want to say that when a certain narrative is made about things, I can tell you right now that I was there since I was there. I don't know what time I got into DC, 6 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock or whatever. When I finally decided, this isn't what I'm here for. This isn't where I park my car. Mm-hmm. This isn't what I'm here for. And I just want to be clear that the entirety of the day was peace, love, and harmony for the most part. People waving their American flags, and it was everybody. I mean, for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. There was a 7-year-old lady that fell down. And she basically locked her knees. She had to be in her 70s, but there was every single type of race, religion. There was Chinese people there who were denouncing the CCP, and like it was all like positive. And unfortunately, for a handful of shitbags who decided to kick in windows and decided to walk into a Capitol, they ruined a fantastic time.
Like Gangrene on Discord.
Like Gangrene on Discord.
Which you can join if you fire.
Oh my God, I thought it was like opera music. I almost freaked out and stormed out of this lodge room.
I mean, I like opera.
For a minute. Yeah, out of nowhere, though? Like, in a haunted lodge room? I'm out.
Heard worse.
But anyway, my point is this, is that please, I would ask of everybody, do not judge an entire group of people that supported something on the account of the actions of
Danny Collins,
a bunch of people.
Oh, okay, we're off the game.
A bunch of people, because that's really unfair.
That analogy is over.
That is absolutely,
my bad.
It's absolutely wrong to do that. To condemn an entire group of people based off of the actions of a few.
Yeah, I think that as a general rule, that's.
I mean, P2 Lodge.
Right?
But would you say that all Masons are bad based off the P2 Lodge?
Any group of people, and I'm not even saying an organization, any group of people, you get enough people together, there's going to be some people in that group that are not as upstanding as the majority of that group. So, and that's just like whether they be organized or disorganized.
So I have two other points of order, and then I'll shut up and I'll give it over to you guys.
Okay.
Number 2.
2 points of order, 15 parts each.
To think that, or to condemn one person because, do we want to sit there and say that, our president inflamed it? Okay, whatever. But you have to understand that the people who were there, this has been going on since. Please, I would love everyone to freaking say this to your representative, your senator, anybody in general. Okay, that this has been going on for a long, long time, where you have 2 different political parties that are fighting constantly since George W. Bush.
Well, it's probably been going on longer than that.
It's been going on longer than that. Okay. Oh, yeah, it absolutely has. And we're going to show that. I'm going to talk. That's my 3rd point of order about this.
I thought you only had 2 points of order.
Well, this is the second one of. Can I please?
Well, no, you keep adding points of order on things that we said we weren't going to talk about.
Paragraph A.
My point is this, though.
Article 2.
It's been going on for a long, long time. And what it's now done is filtered down into everyday people, especially nowadays, being that everything is internet and everything. And I would simply ask that our leaders stop the mudslinging. Our founding fathers were all Masons, and James Madison and Thomas Jefferson hated one another right up until their deathbed. They hated one another, but they acted civilly in front of everybody. And that's, I guess, the only thing I would like is that, stop with this narrative. Stop. Just talk to each other. It's not that hard.
And to that point, are those your 2 articles of George Federations?
Yeah, you guys talk. And at the end, I just want to talk about the history of attacks on the U.S. Capitol, because it's a lot of stuff that people don't know about. It's history. Got it off the History Channel thing. That's pretty cool. I saw not for in regards to, but I figured this is perfect. I like history shit. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. All right. So here's my take. Agree with in concept and in principle. I agree with everything that you said. However, in regards to the Grand Lodge's responses, and even what you were just saying, what the point of what you were saying is things are too divisive. We need unity. We need people to come together versus breaking apart. And that's, to me, the main crux of those letters from the two Grand Lodges, New Hampshire and Wisconsin. One went a little further than the other, but it was more of a reminder of, hey, here are our tenets of Freemasonry. And among those are brotherly love, unity, relief, charity, just to name a few. And on the page the other day, I wrote a thing up about the 4 cardinal virtues.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Those groups that exist, I'm not put Wednesday aside.
Right.
Groups that are out there that exist that meet that criteria that the Grand Master of Wisconsin laid out.
Right.
You can't have co-membership between Masonry and those groups.
Can I make a counterpoint though?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm not done with this.
Not a counterpoint, but I want to
not yet
build off it. I'm shutting up.
But there was another.
Joe has the floor.
There's another letter that came out where they specifically named some organizations, and I'm not going to get into all of them. But I think we would all agree that the KKK. I'm not offended if we lose any listeners that happen to be part of that group. Because
nope.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That's fine. Go on your way. You can't be a member of the KKK.
Absolutely not.
And a Freemason. You can't.
Right.
It's too much in conflict. We've even talked about in religious aspects. Can you be a Satanist and a Freemason?
Right. Absolutely.
There are certain organizations that do exist out there. Not everyone, and not everyone that's being painted into with a broad stroke. But you are judged by the company you keep. You can't be a member of both.
Right.
You just can't. And there gets to a point where maybe that line gets a little blurry.
Right.
And it's not as black and white, or it's not a clear cut as, say, the KKK, or even, I don't know, you want to go Black Panthers back in the day, where they were like a paramilitary organization. Okay, that doesn't seem consistent.
Right.
Some of the teachings of Louis Farrakhan don't seem consistent with the tenets of Freemasonry. So you can't be both.
Totally.
You got to pick. And I know some folks are out there are debating whether or not the Grand Lodges have a right to comment on your conduct outside of lodge. And I firmly believe that they do. It's the terms and agreements you signed up for.
Can I?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
I will secede the floor to you for 10 seconds.
I thank the gentleman for yielding.
Brother George has the floor.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Never mind. Take it
Here's
back.
my
You
thing.
didn't say 1, 2, 3, no backsies.
Yes. So here's my thing. Okay. I also don't think it's right for a Grand Lodge to tell me what quote unquote organizations I should join based on what they believe. And I'll make a point. Me as a Mason, okay, I feel I'm a good Mason. I will never join, or if I did join an organization that I later turned out and found out, because again, here's the problem with censorship, okay, is that those people who are actually racist and actually evil will go underground and you'll never hear from them again. They're not out in the open. Like KKK was very out in the open. Like, we don't like these people. That was the KKK, right? They were out in the open. You knew they were. So if you were a good person, you're a Mason, I'm going to stay away from them.
Correct.
But then now you have, when you censor organizations to this stuff, they go underground and they stop putting out that they're actually racist or they're actually evil and they're actually bad. And what you do is they're just like, hey, come join us. So now you go over there and you join them. Okay. You're like, oh, these guys aren't that bad. And then in the end, you find out how bad they are.
Be caught up in something you didn't
now
expect.
You're caught up in something you can't expect.
Yeah,
so here's my thing. I think the Grand Lodges should put out a statement that says, if you join these, no. If you're part of these organizations, they should say, basically what that first letter said, if you're a good Mason, you know what. For me, again, I feel like I'm a good Mason. I'm a good person. So if I was ever in an organization that I found out to be not so good.
Right.
I'm out. I'm gone. Like, this isn't what I signed up for.
You should be able to use your best judgment.
You should, and I think that's what Grand Lodges need to do is let their Masons make their better judgments.
Right.
It shouldn't be this overhead. If you're part of one of these, we're going to hand in your organizations. Well, again, you left the letter very vague with the organizations. What organization are we talking about?
Well, and I think it was purposely left vague because, and I actually think that's the right thing to do is to not put in the names because it's anywhere. One, there's organizations out there we've never even heard of that exist.
Of course.
That's just the way that it is.
Right.
But
I'm not saying these organizations don't exist. Right. I'm saying I think Grand Lodge should make sure.
But I think Grand Lodge can say, hey, brothers, here's a reminder of the oaths and obligations that you took.
Right.
Here's a reminder of what we're about. If you're a part of an organization that seems to be in conflict with any of these, you got to make a choice. It's one or the other. You can't be both.
Right.
And I don't see anything wrong with that. And I think it's good that they didn't name specific organizations because they probably don't know what the heck they're talking about with certain organizations.
And I also think that Masons, in my opinion, need to shut up. I tell you, I'm not on social media anymore. I love it.
Well, that's not by your choice.
Not by my choice, but you know what? It's probably the best thing that happened to me. Probably the best thing that happened to me. And I absolutely mean that because you know what? I'm not angry anymore. I'm not pissed off at posts anymore. I'm really not. Like the everyday thing where I scroll through my feed and I look at it and I'm like, and piss me off. I don't get mad anymore. Like
now one of the Schultz brothers just messages it to you and gets you all fired up.
No.
That's good in a way. Though. I mean, it's psychologically healthy. We could all take that as a lesson. Maybe we need a break.
I guess my point is this, though, is that it's for me now. I can sit back and look like, all right, I'm glad I shut up about this. I almost dropped an F-bomb. I didn't. You're welcome, Raph.
It's been a long
dropped
time
like
since
12 in the last 15 minutes.
Did I? No, I didn't.
I guess I'm just so immune to them.
Yeah, I just don't even pay attention anymore.
Sorry, parents. No, but like, I think Masons need to close your mouth. Just stop talking until you have all the facts. So quick, we're so quick in this day and age that we see something and we instantly hit the share button because it resonates with us. We feel like this is bad. We feel like that's bad. But I mean, I can't tell you how many times where, like, again, I was for Border Patrol, and then they show. I see a video of bunch of people jumping over the border of the United States, and I'm like, I'm gonna share this, right?
Don't piss off Art. Don't piss off Art.
Hold on, no.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I share this video. Turns out it's freaking Italy. So we had nothing. So now I look like the idiot who's now posted something that was untrue,
right,
or inflammatory.
Right.
So I'm just saying, I just wish that Masons would just
be not so quick to chime in on. So I agree with you, unless it's just like there's certain things where, again, our tenets are universal throughout Freemasonry. Yeah. So, and I took phone calls and messages and things from people that were like, "Hey, as a Mason, I'm really conflicted over this situation. What do I do?" And I'm not going to tell them what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell them what I would do. And a lot of that is, I'm just going to go back to whenever I have a dilemma like that, I go back to my oath, I go back to my obligation, I go back to my rituals and remember why I became a Freemason and what we do. And that'll help you make your decision. I'm not going to tell you what the decision is, but you have to make a decision.
Another thing I don't do as a Mason, and I know it's not, I don't know if it's really in our ritual or in our tenets or anything, but one thing I don't do is kick somebody while they're down. And that's one thing I'm seeing a lot of right now.
Somebody once said best time because they're closest to your foot.
That's definitely in our ritual that you lift a man up when he's falling down.
Morning Star's blowing up the feet. I have no idea what it's about, but anyway.
But I'm sure it's in there somewhere. Even if it
don't kick somebody when they're down. Like when they're down, we actually. I mean, there's so many pictures of Masons like who, when we see a brother down, we lift him up, right?
Right. Well, it's in our logo for
the
move campaign.
Move campaign. Yep.
It's in the long form Master Mason ritual.
Bill Powell. The only time you look down on someone is you're helping them up. Absolutely. Yeah. And when you continue, like, listen, there are people out there who feel a certain way. They're hurting. Let's see. Everyone's hurting right now. Whether you're left, right, it doesn't matter. We're hurting. something we need to have with each other is empathy. And I feel like a lot of Masons have this empathy factor to us. Whereas, I mean, I can't tell you how many times Masons in lodges have lost elections where they wanted to be a junior warden, senior warden, worship master, whatever. And they lost. And it was, you go see these brothers, hey man, don't worry about it. Like next year, like you're still part of the lodge, you're still part of the, but it's hard when people put their faith in something and then that faith gets crushed. So one thing I'm asking is that Masons be empathetic to that. That there's people out there that are hurting, they're bothered, they're upset, they're scared, they're worried.
As far as your other comment regarding people liking and sharing things too quickly, that just falls back under that subdue your passions.
And the Joe's 2 rules.
And the Joe's 2 rules. So go ahead, Ken.
I got 2 points. All right. So first off, I think I'm going to take the counterpoint on this one, that Grand Lodges can make statements about what organizations you can and cannot belong to as a Mason.
Okay.
And here's why.
Can I ask a question though?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
He did not yield his time.
I did not yield my time. I didn't even make my point yet. But
no, can I ask, like, what organizations, rather than just vague, but actual stated organizations, like KKK or whatever the hell, like you talk, Nazis. You mean like stated organization, or you mean just they have a say on just a random vague?
No. I mean
umbrella.
I mean, you can pick out an organization, I think, as a Grand Master and say, hey guys, this is not consistent with our values.
That was my only question.
And the reason that I believe that is, like, yes, as Masons, we should be, I mean, we're encouraged to have our own judgment of these things and do the right thing. Like, that's what we do. We do the right thing even when nobody else is watching. That's integrity. That's one of the values of being a Mason. But you're also a representative of the fraternity. Okay, if you're going to walk around with a Masonic t-shirt on or wear a ring, or you have a square and compasses on the back of your car, and you're seen at a rally for one of these organizations.
What are you trying to say? I didn't drive.
I'm not.
Were you at a KKK rally recently?
You probably should feel guilty then. No, we all got that. We all have that stuff, right? So we all wear t-shirts, we all wear our rings, and we've all got that crap on our cars, right? So now we are brand ambassadors for Freemasonry worldwide. Mm-hmm. If we're doing something that's subversive, or we're part of an organization, or we're seen at a rally or something with our rings on, guess what that does to the fraternity?
Right.
And that's why in Grand Lodges, I mean, they have a lot of responsibilities, and here in the United States, there's a lot of responsibilities that are left at the local lodge level, but at least at the state level, the jurisdictional level, Grand Masters are responsible for, among other things, the reputation of the fraternity. That's what they have to defend. So I get that. Like that, I would, if I were Grand Master, I would feel that it's my responsibility to make those kinds of statements too. Right. And we as Masons can either abide by them or not. It's not an edict, right? He's not going to show up on your doorstep and immediately yank your dues card if you're still in conflict about this. But I think it's within their rights and prerogatives to issue those kinds of statements. Okay. Number 2, Freemasonry, I believe, is the last bastion of civility and gentlemanliness in the world.
Agreed.
There aren't too many other organizations out there that have a value system that are specifically about doing the right thing, being a gentleman, just having civil discourse, thinking for yourself. These are things that aren't taught in schools anymore. I don't see that this is being displayed by the new generation, the younger generations out there in general. Things tend to be a lot more fast and loose than they were before. And I think, like today's politicians, you see that in them as well. Right. Where they speak a little bit more freely than they used to. You look back to, John F. Kennedy.
Problem.
John F. Kennedy would never talk like some of our more recent presidents, right?
Right. No,
I think that's been lost, and I think that goes back to your point about, politicians, just trying to be more civil and not slinging mud and stuff like that, and having these really egregious campaigns.
I always said if I ran for an office, I would never sling mud. It's one thing I will never do.
I mean,
I will never say a bad thing about another person.
Right, and you shouldn't, and that's probably among other things because of the Masonic teachings that you believe in. So I think the world, I think what the Grand Master of New Hampshire was saying is 100% apropos. Right, if you're a Mason, you know the right thing to do, and if you're walking around and like getting involved in these kinds of things and talking the same way that these politicians and these extremists are talking, then you got a problem, man, because you're in violation of, the promises that you made. So,
I'm totally on board with that. I concur. I don't agree with the narrative.
Thank you.
I don't agree with the narrative of labeling people certain things. Like,
no, that's never a good policy.
It's, I don't know, just as a Mason, even with this podcast and all the people who, you guys don't see it like on live and all that stuff. But one of the things I seen it. Holiday says
holiday. Apropos, those are robot words.
Those are English words, sir. Look them up.
Of French origin.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I don't like the narrative. Especially, and again, I go back to my rule. I will not speak on something unless I have a first-hand account about it. And it's just like you guys don't see is on the YouTube channel. All of the comments that are up there, you guys devil, and then I get biblical verses. I'm like, come on now. Like, it's slightly aggravating because you're speaking on something or making fun of our fraternity or saying that we're a certain way. You know nothing about it.
Yeah, well, that's when you, as a Mason, you just kind of ignore them, brush it off, right? Because they clearly don't know
I'll keep of
what they speak.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's one thing.
Well, that's what we do. You can't do that,
right? Ken and I can do that. You not so much.
Holidays is don't condescend me, cyborg. I see you for what you are.
Oh God, I'm not trying to be on the intellectual.
But no, and that's why. When you acknowledge certain things, and for a very long time, Freemasonry didn't defend itself. It didn't respond to accusations. And, I'm starting to see some of the wisdom in that, because the more you react and the more you acknowledge it, you're giving power to that thought. You're giving power to that idea. And you're actually kind of like fanning the flames of it by responding. I'm not saying you personally. Even though you do,
yes,
it is you personally.
Yeah, this is a personal.
But like, you can't give those things power. Just like, whatever, going about my day, scroll.
It's like this though. It's two things. Okay. Yes. Am I a fighter? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. I generally. It's just how I am. I'm a hard-headed. I'm a fighter. You come after me or the fraternity, I'm going to fight back with you. I'm not going to, and I usually, and this goes back to part of George's rule about having first-hand account or doing my homework. I will make sure, but
never mind.
I will make absolutely sure that when you come and you say something, that I just annihilate you with knowledge, and then you look stupid, and then you skulk away. Like,
see, but I accomplished the same exact thing, but I just ask. Just calm, rational questions. Where did you hear that from? Did you actually see that happen? Like, what is your source on this? Where
cite your source. I'd like to read that.
And usually by the time you ask 3 questions, okay, I saw it on TikTok. Okay.
Well, no, that's what I'm talking about.
Fat Brad Pitt.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. That's the type of stuff that I do.
Yeah.
Or when you start spitting Bible verses, and then I start spitting them back at you, and you're like, yeah, I know it too. Like, I don't know why you're spitting Bible verses at me, what relevance this has, because I can throw them right back at you. And I think one of the ones I love using is, if ye are without sin, cast the first stone. Yeah. Love that one.
Let he who is without sin cast.
Love that one.
Depending on the translation.
Yeah, depending on the translation.
He's going King George version.
I went New English translation.
Yeah, but I would reply with something like
King George.
And I would reply with something like, yeah, David Koresh and Charlie Manson can spit Bible verses too. How'd that work out?
Yeah, exactly.
So
they weren't nice people.
If that's the company you want to be with. But, it's...
So
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We're getting toward the hour mark, so
Yeah.
I was going to cap it off. But go ahead.
Are
finish
we
your last thought.
really? Wow, that flew by.
56.
Crap.
I was just going to say, just mind your obligations.
Mm-hmm.
Search the answer, just like with masonry. A lot of the answers are within you.
Mm-hmm.
Just stop, think about it, put some thought into it. Don't react right away. So subdue your passions. All the lessons are there.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the middle chamber lecture with using logic, and making language subordinate to thought. Just stop and think, and you'll find the answer. Just it's all right in your ritual.
So
wise words, Joe. Wise words.
I guess the last thing I want to cap off with is a little bit of history, and then I guess maybe a thought for everyone to sit on. And what I did was I was thinking about this, and I know people are pissed off about the Capitol being attacked and the windows being kicked in and all this stuff, and I totally understand this. But people have this mentality that this is the demise of the United States of America, and oh my God, and it's never been this bad. Well, let me drop some knowledge on you, and then I'm going to lead with kind of like something I want you guys everyone who's listening to sit on.
Good thing it doesn't have far to fall.
So
he's trying to be serious now.
This is from history.com, and you're welcome to look at it. It's /news/US Capitol building violence fires. And this is basically attacks that have happened on the US Capitol building. And I know they said, the Capitol hasn't been attacked since 1812. Wrong.
Really?
So the 1812 is when the British, this was the War of 1812, the British showed up.
What year did that happen?
Funny. It wasn't 1812, it was 1814. Don't you feel stupid?
I'm fact checking you right now.
You can go right ahead.
Eating crow really does suck.
1814 is when the capital of the United States was
Started on
burned
June
down.
18th, 1812.
Yes, it was the beginning of
That's
the war.
the war.
Yeah, the War of 1812.
Yeah.
I said, what year did that war
In
happen?
retaliation, British troops in 1814 burned federal buildings in Washington, D.C., including the White House and the Capitol.
During the War of 1812.
Yeah, that was the war which began in 1812.
Moving on.
The War of 1812. That's when Dolly Madison grabbed the picture of
Yes.
George Washington. Stopped
So
making
that was the
ice cream
first
for
time that the Capitol was
breached.
Damaged.
Yeah. Yep.
Here's another time that it happens. Congressional violence erupts during lead up to Civil War, where actually senators got into a full-on brawl on the Senate floor fighting.
Okay.
So where things were smashed, there was one guy here that says the U.S. antebellum period was characterized by violence against enslaved black people. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, here we go.
And you realize the only legible or intelligible phrase that you had out of that was black people.
I'm zooming through here. Right. Okay, here we go.
That's not a good look.
The caning of Sumner was not an isolated incident. So one of the most famous incidents of congressional violence is the caning of Charles Sumner.
Who Fort Sumner is named after?
I think so.
Okay.
In 1856, a pro-slavery representative, Preston Brooks, beat anti-slavery Senator Charles Sumner nearly unconscious with a cane on the Senate floor. Brooks said he chose to attack Sumner this way because he didn't want to break the 1839 law against congressional dueling. We just did that last episode.
Yeah. So he's like, I'll hit him with a cane.
I'll hit him with the stick.
Jesus.
Passed a year after congressman had killed another in a duel in Maryland. The caning of Sumner was not an isolated incident. Historian Joan B. Freeman identified more than 70 violent occurrences between congressmen while researching her book, The Field of Blood, Violence in Congress, and the Road to Civil War. So there you go. So there's another.
So violence has happened there, but it hasn't been breached by outside forces. Unless you have more.
Shootings and bombings at the Capitol.
Oh.
There we go.
No,
And this is
and there goes
There we go. On July 2nd, 1915, a former German professor at Harvard, Heinrich Munter, planted a package containing 3 sticks of dynamite in the Capitol near the Senate reception room. The explosion detonated around midnight during the time when Senate had been on recess. The on-call duty Capitol police officer was nearly knocked out of his chair during the blast, but fortunately, no one was injured. So there's another instance.
What year was that? Sorry.
1915, July 2nd. Here we go. Here's another one. March 1st, 1954. 4 Puerto Rican Americans fired guns into the House of Representatives, injuring 5 congressmen. The attackers said that they acted to demand independence for the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico.
Oh, that was.
There's another one.
Another one?
And actually,
another one.
Let's see here.
Did you call it?
I didn't know this. On March 1st, 1971, a bomb exploded in the Capitol building. While the explosion did not injure anyone, it caused over $300,000 in damage. Going to be probably a hell of a lot more nowadays.
Yeah.
A group calling itself the Weather Underground claimed to be behind the bombing and said that in protest of the ongoing U.S.-supported bombing of Laos.
They can't be Masons.
That's interesting. I mean, there's a very popular weather forecasting website called the Weather Underground,
which is why I was actually knew about this group prior to that.
Really?
And I was like, why would you name yourself that?
Yeah, that's a little sketchy.
You ready, fellas?
Yes.
Here's another one.
And another one.
2 more. 13 years later, on November 7th, 1983, a bomb tore through the 2nd floor of the Senate wing of the Capitol. The device detonated late in the evening and no one was harmed, but it caused an estimated $250,000 in damage. A group calling itself the Armed Resistance Unit later claimed responsibility for the attack, saying it was in retaliation for military actions in Grenada and Lebanon.
Okay.
Several people were arrested in connection with the attack. Political causes aside, individuals have committed acts of violence in the Capitol grounds throughout the decades. These incidents include an 1890 fatal shooting sparked by a feud between a reporter and a former congressman, and a 1998 fatal shooting of 2 Capitol police in 1998 by a man who claimed the U.S. was plagued by cannibalism and fictional disease.
Cannibalism and fictional disease.
That's what it says here. And then we get, which brings us up to January 6, 2021. We don't need to. We already know what happened. We lived in there a week ago.
Yeah, and the fact that these things also happen does not make what happened on last Wednesday right. We're just saying no. This is not an isolated thing. It's happened before. I mean, should the Capitol building be more secure?
Oh yeah,
I would think so.
Probably.
Thinking
I guess 2021 you would think it is, but
I'm not diminishing. I want to be clear, but I'm not diminishing what happened on January 6th. I just want to. This is, I guess, my point to all this is that
there have been assholes for a really long time.
There have been assholes for a very long time. There
violation of rule number 1.
There have been attacks on the Capitol throughout the decades. It wasn't just 1812 and 2000, or excuse me, in 2021. Like that's propaganda. Do your homework. That's what I just talked about. George's rule number 2. I did my research and I learned that there were multiple times that the Capitol was attacked. My point being is this: we're gonna get through this together. Whether you're on the left, whether you're on the right, we're going to get through this together.
Or in the middle.
We're going to get through this together. Mm-hmm. This isn't, when you watch the news and this is or you go on YouTube and it's Civil War Part 2, and it's not going to happen. We're going to get through this. We're going to be okay.
Right. And while you're on YouTube, head over to the Freemasons podcast channel and smash that like and subscribe button. And while you're at it, head on over to Patreon, where as little as $5 a month. Actually, there's one tier now, $5 a month.
Yep.
You can join Patreon, get access to Discord. You can meet Gangrene. They'll send you some autographed 8x10 glossies. And perhaps you'll get a gold tone Freemasons pin.
And there's absolutely no inflammatory content on either of those places. Ever.
I'll leave you with one last quote before I shut up and get ready to sign off. But on your topic, this it's almost as if Facebook listens to our conversation and gives me things that are relative to what we're talking about.
Right.
Quote Martin Luther King, "We need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice, not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity."
Here.
And I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely. One last thing we want to do is we're going to be doing a contest for those who like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have a bunch of pins that we're going to be sending at random. So if you like and subscribe to us, you might end up with a pin randomly.
Cool. Random.
Like from this point forward, if you like.
From this point forward,
okay.
if you like and subscribe, I have a palm full of pins that they're
shotgun blast them out there among the subscribers.
Yeah, I'm going to shotgun blast. Yeah. No, but what I'll do is I will randomly select somebody who likes and subscribes to us, and I will send you a pin.
As long as you're not Illuminati.
As long as you're not Illuminati.
Yeah. And I'm part random number generator, so I can help you out with that.
Shut up. Bill Powell, pin prizes. Maybe they'll get them in 2022.
Oh, come on.
Jesus Christ.
Be nice.
Actually, I delegated that to Rafferty, so.
Oh, okay. So now you're like laying blame on somebody else.
Yeah.
That's civil of you.
What do you think, brother? Ken, you got any final thoughts on this?
No, I'm good.
I've
said my piece.
All right, the only thing I would just ask is that don't listen to counterpoint. Listen to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be fine. We're going to get over this. I don't care what CNN or Fox News tell you. We're going to be fine.
Yeah, they're sensationalists.
Listen to learn something. Listen to learn something.
Yeah.
And have empathy for what you're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody walks the same walk as life. Not everybody walks the same path as you. That's the word I was looking for. I don't want to hear it, Joe. You had a freaking Tyson's incident earlier, so.
I'm just trying to help you out, and I was just going to say that some people move through that path longer because their strides are faster because their strides are longer.
That's for us.
There you go.
We're all rough ashlers.
It's for you. Some rougher than others.
All right, brothers. Shut it down. I think we did all right.
Yeah.
Joe doesn't want to beat the shit out of me after this, though, right?
I think
okay.
I
told you I was going to be
did
all right.
okay.
And the dueling pistols
okay.
are still here. I'm just saying. If you guys want to settle something after this,
You did okay.
Might have.
No, we're going old school Rochambeau.
Yeah.
I could use a Templar sword. You could use the Tyler
We'll
sword.
use that hammer right there. Just swing that.
I'll still take the Crusader sword.
That's
out
fine.
there.
I'll swing that 10 times before you even pick that Crusader.
Why do we
sword
have
up
a
the wall?
rusty hammer in podcast HQ? Incidentally,
Probably from the construction.
Yes.
Would be my guess.
Yep.
Just in case.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
I mean, one senator got his ass beat with a cane. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, rusty hammer isn't outside of the realm of possibility.
It's true. True.
All right.
All right.
That's fine.
For the Freemasons podcast, I am Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry signing off.
Worshipful Brother Joe signing off.
And Worshipful Brother Ken signing off.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Mm.
Be excellent.
I know you love when I throw that in. I know you love that.
It just makes me laugh.
My fans demand it. I have a following. In case you didn't know. Ginger's
Thank you all
everywhere.
for tuning in, and catch you later.
Hope you
Be
enjoy.
kind, brothers. Be kind.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
Oh, that is racist.